Okay, let's try something a little different. This is going to show really the value of having all these different levels of detail in the key layers, and also some of the nice things you can do with our picture-in-picture effects. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to turn off some of the key layers that we had on. The key layer that we do have on, I'm going to reset the cropping, move it over into the center of the screen a little bit, like this. Maybe change the size somewhat, so it fills the screen a little more. Whoops. Hit an edge to my mouse there. And this might be an example, for example, when we're having a picture-in-picture effect that we want the person who's speaking on the left to fill the screen while he has a point to make. I'm also going to change my transition here so that the transition reflects what's actually on the air. In other words, the transition will remove the background plus this one key layer that's on, so that if we have to cut out of this effect immediately to a straight shot, we can just put it in preview and go to it. Let's go ahead and memorize that. So memory, controls, save snapshot. First available is memory 32. And I'm going to go here to where it says save all and turn everything off, so I can again choose things a la carte. First thing I'm going to do is save the size and position of key layer 1. And that's all I'm going to save. I'm not going to save what source is wired in or any of the content, because I may have changed that when it was in preview and I don't want this memory to then overwrite that. I'm going to save more from an informative point of view, also the size of key layer number 2, even though it isn't really on, but just so that I memorize the fact that it's sort of, over here like that. I'm going to want to save my transition, including the layers, so that this is recalled properly. And then over here, I'm going to want to save the status of these 3 key buttons. I want to make a note that this one is on and these other 2 are off, so that when it recalls this effect, it turns off those other layers that were on. Let me add one more thing that you weren't expecting. I'm going to put in a recall rate of 10 frames, like that. So here you see key 1, the size and position, key 2, the size and position, the transition, including the layers necessary to remove the effect, then the direct keys indicating which ones of these layers are turned on, and then a transition rate of 10 frames. Let us go ahead and let us save that one. So there's our memory. Let us see how this would actually work. If I go to my memory here, 31 is the memory that we made earlier that set up our 2 box. We bring it on the air, and then I hit this memory we just made, and there, that one gets big. Let's go ahead and let us do that now for the other box. So I'm going to call it that effect, put it on the air, and now this time I'm going to turn off this layer and that layer. That's key layer 2. I reset the cropping. I move it into the center of the picture, sort of like that. I'm going to change the size a bit so it fills a little bit more of the picture, sort of like perhaps that. And let's make another memory. Whoops, let me make that a little smaller, just so it leaves some edge on all sides. Maybe move it down a bit. Let's make another memory, controls, save snapshot. First available, we're up to 33. Again, I'm going to choose this all a la carte, so I turn everything off. The sizes of the 2 key layers. Here I'm going to want to make it that the transition just removes the 1 key that's there. So I'm going to record that transition. And then the status of these 3 layers, which ones are on, which ones are off, and that recall rate, 10 frame recall rate. There we go. Size and position of key 1, size and position of key 2, transition including the layers involved to take the effect off, and then the status of all the 3 key layers, which ones are on and off, and a 10 frame transition, 10 frame duration. And then I save that. So there's memory 33. So here's 32, here's 33. So we could go back and forth and have these people talk. But perhaps we're going to want to go back to a 2 box. I cannot go back to this 2 box because it puts everything in preview. So I have to make one that just changes the size and position and puts it in program. So let me go ahead and do that. Controls, save snapshot. First available, we're up to 34. Again, I'm going to turn everything off so I can just choose exactly what I want. I want just the sizes of the two boxes. The transition is already set. And I want to make a note of what key layers are turned on. And again, a recall rate of 10 frames. And let's try saving this one. Save memory. That's memory 34. So here is left big, right big, and go back. And incidentally, we can go in between them in any order that we like. And the effect will work. The only problem I would say is that who's going to remember that memory 31 corresponds to setting that up, and 32 is the left box, and 33 is the right box, and so forth. So we have the ability of naming all these memories. Let's go ahead and do that. I go to File, Edit Show Settings. It is a little buried. And then we go here to Memories. And here in Memories, it brings up a list of all the memories we've made so far. There's actually quite a few on the system. Memory number 2, oh, that's the one we made on the first thing. Memory number 3, if I press Edit Memory, let's set up, or let's call it PVW for Preview 2 box. That way people know what this thing is going to do. Then 31. Actually, I think this was the preview 2 box. And then 32 was left box big. Let's go to that. Left box big. And 33 was right box big. Let's do that. And 34 was 2 box back in position like that. Whoops. Not such a good typist. Hit OK. Save everything. And now if I come here to my panel and refresh it, this will preview our 2 box. Actually, both of them do. Put it on the air. Left box big, right box big, 2 box back.